All right, guys. Thanks for coming back to the King Ugly Crew today. Looks like we've got Case and Sariaye today, and we're going to do a little bit of a rehash, if you will. Case wasn't on our EMP slash, what was it called? Do you guys remember?
Exile. EMP/exile one.
Actually, I think it's Exile slash EMP to be.
Well, excuse me. So sorry.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the list. I think they're both looking at the list. And then Sariaye hasn't got to be on a lot of these ones. Case, I think that's the only one he wasn't on. But Sariaye hasn't got to be on a lot of these. So we're going to let her. She's going to do a lot of talking tonight. But I think it's going to be fun. Griffith might jump in here with us. Might not. We'll see. And I think, do we want to start off with the EMP stuff, or we want to kind of just hit that maybe in the middle so it's, break up the Sariaye monotony?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let Sari hit it.
Yeah, so which one do you want to start with, Sari? I mean, like, what one would you want to add some stuff to?
Ooh, there's lots of them. Okay, I think I want to start with the name one, because I just love my name. I think it's so cool. And I think it's really cool that, like, everyone in our family has really unique names.
What? You're lying.
Or as my best friend likes to put it, a weird name. It's fine. So
weird. Hey, we all have weird names. They're great. I'd much rather have a weird name than a normal name.
Come on, like Jason.
You are so mean. That's awesome.
That's all right. He loves me.
All right. So anyway, my name is Sariaye. It came about because Dad wanted to name me Sariah and Mom wanted to name me Kyrie, which in itself is kind of a strange name. But so really they just ended up smashing the two names together and they got my name. So that's pretty awesome. And then my middle name is Storm, which I like now. I hated it growing up.
Oh, it's so fitting.
Oh my gosh.
So fitting when you were young.
Oh, wait. So did you hate it growing up because of the connotation?
Because of you guys. You guys are so mean, and every time I used to get angry, it was, "Oh, here comes the storm." So annoying.
So true. Oh man, I remember saying that all the time. All right. So why do you like it now then? Sorry, what changed?
I don't know. I just feel like it's like unique and it's different, and I don't know, like it just flows. Like Sariaye Storm, it just goes. It's a good name.
Do you know if there's a story behind that? How you actually got that name?
Have no idea.
Storm or Sariaye?
Storm.
I think it was Dad. I don't think that one was Mom, but I don't remember why. I mean, it's been a while.
I kind of figured that would be Dad. I don't think Mom would rationally name her daughter Storm.
I don't know. There's not two R's in it.
What?
Good point.
Two R's?
Power. P-O-W-W-E-R.
I thought it was P-O-W-E-R-R. No?
Yep.
No,
not two R's.
I had to go
two W's.
W. Yeah, I had to go doubles or something.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know why it's Storm, but I like it now. And then we did your kids' names too, right?
Yeah, buddy.
We did.
Okay, so I have two kids, Brayson and Brexton. Brayson came about because I really have always liked the name Bryson. I ended up marrying a Bryce, though, and I just couldn't do Bryson because then that's like Bryce's son, and I just thought that was, I don't know, too...
Hey, that'd be super fitting, though. Bryce's son.
Yeah, it was too fitting. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I just didn't like it. So I changed the vowel.
I think you honestly missed on that one. Just saying.
I did not miss on that one.
Oh, wait. You mean like as far as looks are concerned?
No.
Like
it would be like Bryce's son. If I would have named my child Bryson,
it
would have been Bryce's son.
Well, all I meant is that if you did that, that kid looks more like you than he does Bryce, and Brexton is the opposite. Like, totally 100%. Looks like Bryce. So it's just funny. Every time I look at it, I was like, gosh, those two kids are just like Aroya and Braylon were. Just totally so opposite looking. Yeah. I don't know how they act.
I mean, Brexton's only one, so I don't really know yet either.
He could have a kind of a... I mean, Declan's got an attitude, or a demeanor, should I say?
I feel like both Brayson and Brexton have been pretty chill for the most part until they get tired or hungry, and then they're monsters. I feel like that's how I was,
and then they're children.
So. Yeah, so I mean, like, I feel like that was me too, so they definitely have, like, my personality traits, but... Anyway, so Brayson, and his middle name is Nyack. It is Alaska native. It's Inupiat is one of the languages spoken in Alaska because we live in Alaska and that's where he was born. And I did not intend to have more than one child in Alaska, but here I sit in the 20 degrees on April 10th. So there's that.
Ugh.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was snowing yesterday.
Do you want to know the high
Not
today?
very happy about it.
Do you want to know what the high was today in Cedar City?
I don't think I do.
It was a wonderful 70 degrees.
Yeah,
Did it actually
you
finally hit
suck.
70?
It hit 70 today, and it was perfect.
It was really nice. There's no doubt about it. You know
Yeah,
what's
I
funny?
would just like 30. 30 could be great. Like,
So my
Wow.
wife, 30 would be great. Woo, yeah. So my wife's best friend here in Cedar, her parents are both Alaska natives. Like they don't look native. Now maybe I'm I don't know. Maybe this is racist, but they don't look like they don't look native. They look like white people.
Racist.
I
How
mean,
dare you say
there's
such a
lot of
terrible
people, Like, there's a lot of people that have Alaska Native, like, backgrounds and blood, but, like, they're not.
No,
Like-
they were both full 100% native.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah, and neither of them look like it. But
That's
what's funny
crazy
is
because I feel like
she
Alaska
also-
Natives have, like, a very particular look to them. So,
Yeah, like it's like the Inuits, and they have they have a specific look to them, and neither of them do. Neither the mom or the dad do, but they're both native, and it's just crazy. It's hilarious, and what's funny is that her husband he's Mexican, but if you didn't know, you wouldn't think it. I mean, he's whiter than I am on his arms.
that's awesome. Okay, anyway, I'm going to finish because you guys are distracting.
We always distract. It's great. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, Brayson's middle name means snow, in Alaskan, and then I have Brexton, and his name just came about because I like it. That's really it.
So,
and
just funny
I
about
needed-
this is
I
that.
needed a bar
Sorry, did you know?
BR name. So
Oh, yeah, BR. It makes sense. Did you know that Barron was actually going to name his kid Brexton?
I found out after the fact, so I'm glad he didn't. Although I would have
Yeah.
beat him because Brexton was born before Axton. So winner.
Yeah, I just found it was funny. Barron told me that the other day, and I'm like, that would have been awesome. I mean,
Two Brextons.
Two Brextons.
yeah.
That's funny.
Well,
I guess
wouldn't do
Sarah
that.
lives away far enough away that it wouldn't matter. But if she started living
Sad.
close, then it would.
Sad.
She's moving to Utah next week. That's what's happening.
Oh yeah.
Right, Terry?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so wait. Middle name.
Brexton's middle name is Akliak. It is, again, Inupiat for brown bear or Eskimo. I can't remember. It's one of the Alaska Native languages. So his is brown bear, and Bryce picked that one. I don't love it, but I do like that it is Alaskan, and that will kind of like follow them for their whole lives. And I think that's really cool that like where they were born is a part of them. Just because like
Sorry,
Alaska
I find it funny. You literally you said on this that you don't like your kid's name. That's funny.
I don't love it.
My wife didn't love Motega either. You said it's Akliak? That's how you say it?
Akliak. It's spelled like Aklak though.
Okay. But
Akliak.
I think it's cool. I like it. But I also, again, I was looking for something different for my kids' names. So, I guess I like the odd names.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like I like their first names being a little more, I don't know, like my kids' names are unique. Like there are not very many Braysons and there are not very many Brextons for sure.
Until you end up in Utah.
Okay, well, that's probably true. But
I always say that because Braylon, there wasn't a lot of Braylons until we moved to Utah. And then we didn't have any actual Braylons, but we had enough that were close. It was like, geez Louise.
I have one that I coach at the gym actually. So a Braylon, and I thought that was cool when she first came in. I was like, hey, I have a niece named Braylon. So, but yeah, I like that their names are like easy enough to pronounce. I guess that is one criticism of my name. I know Mom spelt it phonetically. It's definitely spelt phonetically if you know how to like read phonetic, I guess. But like people mispronounce my name all the time and always have. Like I'm always Sariaye or Sariaye or like growing up I was like Smith Jensen. Like it was constant. Like when a teacher got my name right on their first try, it was like the biggest win. I would be like, you got it! Like it was a big deal. And so I like that my kids have names that people can look at and pronounce correctly, I guess. But then their middle names are really strange. So I think that's fun.
I kind of agree with that, and I kind of don't, because my name doesn't seem like it's that hard, and very rarely does anybody get it correct.
Even the computer gets it wrong.
Yeah.
Lennon.
Is that how it says
Lennon.
it?
Like
Yeah,
Lennon.
it's Lennon.
Fantastic.
So sorry, what is your dream vacation? Jump into another topic that you didn't get to join on here.
I don't know. That's a really hard one for me because when we travel, like
She lives in Alaska.
because we live in Alaska, when we travel, all we ever do is travel to see family. So, and I'm not really a beach person, so like I wouldn't say like Hawaii or anything like that. I really did enjoy the cruise that I went on with Taryn and Tot. That was fun. I really liked like getting to go to different places, but also like have like the cruise ship that was comfortable, and I like knew where the food was, and I knew where my room was, and like
you
I
could
didn't
get
have
off,
to,
you can have fun, but
yeah,
you
and I
could
didn't have to
downtime
worry
it.
about like knowing the language on the cruise ship because everyone like spoke English on the cruise ship. Obviously, it left from America or the U.S., and so I feel like it would probably be some type of cruise, though I don't know what kind of cruise. Like, I didn't mind the beaches. We went to the Caribbean. But I think I would rather, like, I don't know, I think, like, a river cruise would be really cool. Just
They
because
have
you get to
river
go to, like,
cruises?
yeah, Grandma and Grandpa have been on a few, and then we have some close friends that really like to river cruise.
Isn't like the Panama
Most of-
Canal is also a cruise too, right?
I
Yes,
think
you can go through the Panama
so.
Canal on a cruise. I know that.
But, like, most of them are, like, on the East Coast, or there's a lot of them in Europe.
Like, do they have you go from New York and then through a river to like Chicago?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I haven't looked a lot into it. I just feel like I would like the aspect of like getting to visit different places, but like still have a place that was comfortable that I got to go back to every night. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, no,
Because
I
like
get it.
I'm definitely a homebody. Like I like to be at home, and so like I
Okay, Tosh.
find comfort. Yeah, I find comfort in like having the one place that I know is gonna be there and like is comfortable.
I think the other one that I would have fun with, and I don't know if it'd be fun, but it would be relaxing, I think, is a transatlantic one. Then just to say that I've done a transatlantic cruise, right? From Europe to the US or vice versa. It doesn't really matter which way I go. But you don't really have any stops. You're just going the whole time.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Just nice cruise. Food is amazing. It's all
Like, I
paid
think-
for.
And I think it's 14 days is the minimum those ones are. So it'd be a long one. But like that one would be an awesome one to get our whole family on, because it would just be like everybody could just chill for 2 weeks. We don't have to really worry about anywhere going. Nobody has to follow anybody. It's just like, yeah, we're just chilling.
Okay, well when someone wins the lottery, we can do that.
Deal.
Sold. Okay, Sari, moving on to the next one. Do you have a favorite self-help book?
I don't really read self-help books, so no.
Copy. Cool. Just thought I'd ask.
Nothing? Like you've never read one?
I read The Happiness Project, I think is what it's called. That was good, but I read it for book club, so it was good.
So
It's
Sarah's
not
part of a
something you
book club?
enjoy, huh?
No, I don't really love reading. I'm in book club so that I will try to read one book a month. But I don't really like to read, and I really struggle listening to books. I have a hard time getting into them and staying focused on them. I just start thinking about other things, and then I'm like, okay, well, this has been playing for 20 minutes now, and I have no idea what was said. So that's
Yeah, I get that, depending on what I'm doing. I mean, obviously there's things that I can't do while I'm listening to a book, but I'd prefer listening to a book than reading, because every time I sit down, it's just
Yes.
I could be doing something else other than reading this freaking book.
And that's how I
far
feel,
agree with
especially
you.
now having my kids. I don't know. Yeah. Now that I have kids, I used to love to read, in middle school and high school. I would just go, if I wasn't at gym, then I would just, be in my room reading a book. But
Sorry, what was the cat series one?
Warriors. That was a good one.
Warriors. Yes, I remember that.
Still a big fan of that one. I mean, I haven't read it in forever, but
I don't even know what
I
it
just
is.
remember reading it. It's literally just this super long series about a clan of cats, which sounds so
Okay.
stupid, but it's really good. It's really good.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, for me, again, sitting down and reading a book, I would usually buy an audiobook, and then my wife would buy the same book, but in a physical, in my hand version, and she would sit down and read it. And I was just like, I can't do that. It was just so hard.
Thank you. Yep. That's my issue. Is like someone will hand me a book and I'm like, cool. I'm gonna see if I can find it online. Thanks.
Yeah, like all the time. People are like, oh, you should totally read this book. And I was like, do they have an audio? And be like, I don't know. Well, if they have an audio, then there's a good chance I'll listen to it. If they don't, then I probably won't, I probably won't read it. I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean, I feel like these days most books are in audio, but they're still working on it. So
there's a lot of old ones that aren't in print, or they aren't favorably politically wise, so they keep them out of print. But that being said, yeah, the most of the majority of the new books are absolutely. All right, so if you don't have a self-help one, but most dangerous things you've done. I mean, like for you, it probably wasn't dangerous, but in all of our mind, doing gym was definitely dangerous.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of my job too right now, is like I tell people that all the time. Like I coach gymnastics, and so like my job is literally to keep kids safe and alive, and to keep them doing skills that are done safely so that like they don't get hurt. And like we're doing things where they go upside down, they could land on their necks, and something bad could seriously happen, unfortunately. I mean, that could happen in a lot of sports, but gymnastics especially, where you're flipping and whatnot.
I feel like you're definitely in that position a lot more than a race car driver.
You are like even a football player. Like football players are definitely like susceptible to like concussions and brain injury and stuff like that. But I don't feel like landing on your head so much.
Yeah, I think about more like rugby.
Yeah, rugby's a little intense. I feel like rugby's intense because they don't wear like
no
full-on
pads,
helmets
no
and
nothing.
pads. Yeah. So, most dangerous thing I've ever done. I mean, like everything in gymnastics, I guess, could be considered dangerous. I had really, really, really good coaches, thankfully, that did a really good job making sure that my basics were intact, and I trained the skills properly, and I didn't do skills. I didn't just like chuck skills, very often, at least I would say, but probably.
What was the
wait? What do you mean by chuck skills? Because that's probably a vocabulary that most people wouldn't understand.
Okay, so like just like walking into the gym and like doing something for the sake of doing it. Like we always like would drill things first, or like have a full spot on it, like before we did it by ourselves.
Get some fundamentals underneath that would lead to that type of a deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
Like we didn't just walk in and our coaches were like, "Okay, well just try this."
And that's what I thought you meant, but I just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, that can get dangerous pretty quickly. So,
sorry, what was the bar move where you actually had to let go of the bars and then catch it again?
So I had 2 releases in my bar routine. My high bar release is like like you let go of the bar and you do a backflip with a half turn and then you re-catch the bar. That's called a ginger. That was like one of my favorite skills. I rarely missed it. It was awesome. And then I also did a straddle back. So that's where you swing from the high bar to the low bar. So you like let go of the high bar and then you catch the low bar by like straddling your legs up. Which sounds weird, but I don't know how else to explain it.
That totally makes. Sorry, to me that makes sense. I've seen you do it, but yeah, watching you do the gangers or ganger, right?
Ginger.
Sorry, ginger. Watching you do that always just like took your breath away, because it's like, wow, she could literally just fall right on her face.
I think you were thinking the gainer, like a gainer, which is a dive.
It's also a skill in gymnastics, off beam. So
gotcha.
But
what's the Yurchenko?
Yurchenko is a vault. Yurchenko vaults are fairly dangerous. There's a lot that can go wrong in there. Like you can trip in a hurdle and kind of like run into the base of the vault. I've had an athlete do that. That was pretty scary. But you can like hit the table wrong, and then if you're flipping out of it, if you don't hit the table right, you don't get enough height in the air, like you're gonna land kind of like face plant, which is a little scary. And then if you're in a competition setting, you're on really hard landing surfaces, and so you can crunch your ankles and get those hurt pretty bad. So, that's another one we should do that I wasn't in, is the injuries like broken bones and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I have my fair share of those.
Jump in there, tell us.
So I have had 3 surgeries, all because of gymnastics.
I did not realize it was that many.
I would not trade it for anything. So I tore my meniscus in my right leg when I was a freshman in high school and had surgery to fix that. It was a quick fix, which was good. And And then I came back and I got all my skills back. And then right as we were about to start our next competition season, I broke and dislocated my toe, my big toe, on beam, which I get to count because I had to have surgery on it. Normally, I would not count broken toes. But it was my big toe, and I had to have it pinned straight. With that, I'm allergic to surgical steel, which is really fun.
I forgot about this one.
Yep. And
wait. How did you do that one? It got really infected, if I remember correctly. Like that's the one I remember.
Yeah, I was doing a back tuck on. I was doing a series, a back handspring back tuck on beam, and I landed on the side of the beam, like just my big toe on the beam, and so it like tweaked it and broke it and dislocated. But yeah, so after it was pinned, I was fine for about a week, and then I started getting really sick, and I thought it was because of my pain medication that I was taking. But then my foot started to hurt really bad, and so I couldn't. Like I got to a point where like within like 2 or 3 days of that probably where I couldn't walk, I couldn't put my foot down without being in excruciating pain. If I didn't have ice on both sides of my foot at all times with it elevated, like I was crying hysterically. I remember Barron slept downstairs with me on the couch because like he would like replenish my ice like every couple hours because I would like wake up like in agonizing pain. Like it to this day, even after having 2 children, it is the worst pain I have ever been in my life.
Wow. Now, so if you're allergic to... So surgical steel is usually stainless steel. So if that's the case, do you have stainless steel earrings?
No, I can't wear
like
earrings.
Like sterling silver is all you can do?
I don't wear earrings at all because I've reacted to everything with them
even
in my ears.
Sterling silver?
Even gold, even everything.
Wow. Weirdo.
I know. I mean, I can do it on the outside of my body. Like my wedding ring doesn't give me an issue. Sometimes my neck will react to my necklace. But generally it's just if it's like internal that I have a really big issue with it.
Yeah,
so,
my kids can't do
allergic to that much.
Yeah, my kids can't do like nickel coated or anything that's got nickel in it, which stainless steel has nickel in it, so they can't do that. But they can do sterling silver.
Yeah, we tried everything with my ears, and then it was just like, okay, well this is too much. So I just gave up and stopped wearing earrings because it wasn't worth the fight, I guess. So that one was definitely probably the worst of my injuries, only because like my foot got so badly infected, and then so they ended up pulling the pins out a week earlier than they were supposed to. After about 2 weeks of me being in this really bad pain, antibiotics not working, I had only just hit 100 pounds. I know that sounds crazy as a sophomore in high school. It was a really exciting time. And then I lost 15 pounds when I got sick with my infection. So,
well, 100 pounds for you, that's pretty good because you're 5 what?
I'm 5'6" now, 5'6.5".
So, I mean, like, that's not short for a gymnast, and that's not necessarily short. So, to be 100 pounds at 5'6", that's still pretty small. And if you lost 15 pounds then, geez, that's 85 pounds. Were you 5'6" at that point?
No, I think I was probably around 5'2" or 5'3". I grew quite a bit my junior and senior year of high school too. So
gotcha.
So, but that was definitely the worst of them, just because all of that happened. And that was also my hardest recovery. Like I still can't do everything with my foot that it should do, or with my toe, because it didn't really heal properly, and I'm sure there's still some residual crap in there from what happened. But
so I didn't realize, Mom actually ended up telling me this probably about 6 months ago, that you had surgery up in Alaska. I didn't know about that one.
I did. So
I didn't either.
That was a pretty easy surgery. I think that's probably why most people didn't know about it. I was back in the gym flipping like 2 weeks after surgery with ease. I walked up the stairs the day of my surgery. So like I had a loose body is what they call it. It's pretty much a piece of cartilage that's floating around. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but the week before I got married, I was in the gym training and I landed something funky and like hurt my knee really bad. I could barely walk at my wedding. And like my knee hurt so bad, like doing pictures and stuff. Like Skyla was like, hey, do this. And I was like, I can't do that because it hurt my knee. So that was super fun. So the beginning of my first senior year, I can't remember. One of my senior years. So the beginning of that year.
First year is senior year. Second one is super senior, remember?
Okay, so when I was a super senior then. Yeah, you're right. So when I was a super senior, I had this...
Super senior.
Yeah. I had this knee injury that hurt. And so I was only allowed to do bars, but even bars hurt. Like the straddle cast handstand and the act of like doing a straddle hurt. Like it made this loose body move in my knee really funky, and it would like get lodged in between tendons and muscles, and like I could move it around if it was in the right
disgusting.
Place. Yeah,
That's
if
disgusting.
if it was in the right place, I could like push it around my knee and make it go where I wanted it to. And so like we didn't know the extent of the injury, and so I opted to wait until after season to get surgery on it because I didn't want there to be something more wrong with it. And I only did bars my super senior year, so it wasn't that big of an issue because I wasn't doing anything super pounding other than landing a dismount. But I just like, I didn't want there to be more wrong and then I couldn't like finish out my last year of gymnastics, which I know sounds crazy, but I'm sorry, but when you've done a sport like your whole life, you know, like you're pretty much going to do anything to finish it out the way you want. And so I waited, and then right after I finished season, I had surgery on it to fix it. And like I said, it was super fast. I walked up the stairs that day, and then I was like flipping around and doing everything normal like 2 weeks later.
Nice. That's disgusting.
Warning.
That was fun. Yeah, so that one was fun. But those are like the worst injuries I've had. I've really only broken, I'm sure that I've like fractured my ankle without knowing it, or I've definitely broken some fingers. I don't really count those because it's a finger.
Fingers?
Yeah.
When?
16 years of gymnastics.
Yeah, probably once every,
Jeez,
5 months or something.
Yeah, I've had...
Or a sprain or a strain or something.
Yeah, I've had a lot of like stupid, just like annoying things, especially like gymnastically, where like I can't do everything in training and that's really annoying. But those are my 3 big ones because I had to have surgery on all of them. So.
Okay, so moving on, unless you got a couple
Restaurants.
Well,
Restaurants.
that's what I was going to do foods, but so I was going to say, so like Sariaye, if you guys haven't seen pictures, we've got the King Ugly Crew .wordpress.com, I think is what it is, and you can see a picture over there, and she's not fat like the rest of us. Neither's Tashi. But I don't know if she considers herself a foodie or not.
Oh, I love food. I love food.
Okay, so do you want to do favorite restaurants or favorite foods? Because we did it 2 different. We did like favorite foods was like types of food, right, Case? That's how we did it.
Why not both?
It totally
Yes,
can
we
do
did.
both. Like you could probably do both. Like in
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can do both. Well, like the rest of my family, for the most part, other than a couple of weirdos, I love sushi. Love sushi. It's my favorite. If I get to pick where we're going for dinner, it's sushi.
and you've got some pretty good, probably decent restaurants up there in Anchorage, I'm assuming.
I mean, yeah, like it's good up here. It's expensive. It's really expensive.
Really?
And we don't have all you can eat places like in Vegas. So we don't.
It just
go very
shocks
often.
me. Only because like you're right there on the ocean. I mean, like you can get all that fish right there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I think we just export most of it. So.
Oh, it's
to
like
be
Idaho
honest.
and the potatoes.
Yeah, probably.
In Idaho, you get these little dinky potatoes, but if you go to the farmer's field, you can get freaking ones that are, I don't know, the size of helmets.
Yeah, so like even if you go and like get salmon in the middle of summer, it's still like $20-$25 a plate. Like it's still really expensive.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Unless you fish it yourself. That's the only way you're getting
That's crazy.
cheaper salmon or halibut.
I would love to come up and fish for salmon with you at some point.
I have never fished in my life, just FYI.
Has Bryce done
Bryce
it?
fish?
I'm assuming he has.
Bryce has done it. He gets really seasick, so he's not a big fan.
No, but like you can do the spawning salmon out in the rivers. Because living as a native, because you guys are now considered native-ish, right? You guys can dip net now, right?
Oh yeah, we could go dip netting, but I hate salmon. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, you and Barry.
Wow.
See, I actually don't like it cooked. Actually, Nick's made a really good one. Actually, the best one I've ever had. It was smoked and covered in Yoshida's. Really good. So, like, Baron's like, yeah, you covered it with flavor. No, it made it so it wasn't as potent. But I like sushi salmon, so I like it raw.
Ew. That's disgusting.
No, it's so decent raw. Like, I didn't think I liked it until it was funny. Me and Dad went to Circus many, many years ago, and we went to an all-you-can-eat, and it was just me and him. And we got this roll that had on the top of it, you know how like they put nigiri sometimes, just real thin slices of nigiri on the top. So it had like, it was called the rainbow roll, but it literally had like, it had some maguro, it had some hamachi, it had some salmon, and I can't remember what the last one was.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not had salmon in any capacity where I like it. I like halibut and I like rockfish. Those are good. And I've had fresh of all three of those. But I just prefer the white fishes, I think. They're a little less crazy. I
mean, other than maguro, to me, is like my favorite. But I would agree. Like cooked fish, the halibut, rockfish, cod, haddock, they're all really good fish. Or haddock? Is it haddock or paddock? I can't remember.
I have no idea.
Haddock.
That's what I thought.
Anyway, so, love sushi. I really like Mexican food, except when I'm pregnant.
That's funny.
I really don't like meat very much, so I'm very different from my brothers in that sense.
I don't like steak, so
my husband loves meat, loves steak. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't like
actually,
steak.
I think you're wrong. The majority of us brothers would prefer sushi over steak. Like if we had the choice, it would be sushi all day long over steak. The only way that I like meat is if I'm smoking it and I'm making it for a lot of different people. Not a big old fat steak for me. No, it's not. I mean, I've had really good ones and they were good, but I've had other things that are better.
So sorry, what's your favorite fast food restaurant? In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out Burger.
Del Tacos, fish tacos.
Those are good. I really like In-N-Out, and we don't have an In-N-Out up here, so I crave it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yep.
And I also really like Farmer Boys, which I don't know how popular it is anywhere. I think it's fairly popular.
It's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas.
In Vegas. So cool. Sweet. Any other food you want to mention, Sari?
Sorry, Case. What did you say?
Any other
food you want to mention?
Ooh, let's see. I really like. Yes, I want to mention Moose's Tooth because it's in Alaska and it's awesome. And it's pizza.
Is that the one you took me to?
I think, yeah. And it's rated like one of the top 10 pizza places in the United States. So talk about Moose's Tooth because it's the best. So good.
The name is great. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we have a Moose's Tooth and a Bear's Tooth and Broken Tooth. But Broken Tooth is their brewery. So obviously I don't do that much. But
why? They usually have good food at those type of places.
It's just a brewery. It's not a restaurant.
Oh, they don't have any food? Do they have their own root beer, or do you know?
Yes, Moose's Tooth has. Well, yeah, they make their own root beer and cream soda. Right. It's delicious.
I did have the root beer while I was there. I do remember that.
Super good. So they have this pizza. It's called the Amazing Apricot, and it's so good. They put apricot jam on a pizza, which sounds totally disgusting and really weird, but it's so good. So good. They also have a pizza called Backpacker, and I love that one. It's a vegetarian pizza, which is fine with me because, again, not a big meat fan. So, but they do whole cloves of roasted garlic and throw them on there, and artichoke hearts and dried tomato, and it is on point. It's delicious.
You had me into artichoke hearts and dried tomato.
No, so good. They're so good. So good. Okay. So yeah, probably that is my favorite.
You've got a cranky kid, so we gotta get off here, right?
Yes.
So real quick, is there anything else you want to mention from any of the episodes? I mean, this is gonna be a short one, but that's all right. You know, I think our fans will understand. They get it. Our users, right?
Why can't we talk about the one I missed out on?
We totally could, but that's gonna. I mean, as long as maybe.
Goodbye, Sari. Good night. Love you.
It's okay. I think we're doing okay right now. If I have to go, I'll go. But yeah, let's do cases because he wants to do that.
Well, and I think that we would get some good info from you too. I mean, especially being up in Alaska, there's probably some things that you would think about that some of us others might not. And I'm assuming Bryce is. I mean, he's probably got a lot of guns, right? Am I wrong?
We have enough to suffice. I don't want to say that we have a ton.
Sorry,
I don't
don't
know,
incriminate yourself.
well,
I
I-
love
want
that.
to
I
say
know
we're
That
that-
was
like
perfect.
hoarding guns.
No,
but-
that's not what I mean. I know that he does hunting, so he's got to have a couple different type of rifles for that. And I'm not trying to incriminate you to anybody. But so if that's the case, so let's get into the real quick the three question or the if you're stuck on an island by yourself, what are the three things you can take? Obviously, you can remember that me, Sari, or Skyla, and Dane kind of went off on a tangent, and Dane took his house, right? But Griffith took a gun and 2 bullets. So what would you guys take?
Okay, but you have to preface this because in that episode 2, you also like gave sometimes a time frame. So is this the time frame one, or you're like there forever for life, never getting off?
So this was forever for life to start off with, and then the next part of it was like if you were on there for 5 years or 10 years or something.
Okay, well, I feel like if it was forever for life, I agree with Griff. Give me a gun and 2 bullets. Put me out of my misery.
All right.
I probably disagree with that.
Okay, so what would you do?
I would. So, is this the one where we can actually contact people? If you guys haven't listened to the episode, it's called Discuss Exile AMPs, season 1, episode 23. If you guys want to know why we're bringing this one up, basically, is this the one where you can actually still have connection with the world?
I think that was not. Well, I don't know. It's really hard. I don't remember where we went with that one to start off with right at the bat because, if I remember correctly, I just said, informational books and, a couple things that I can make tools with. I think I said something to light, be able to light a fire with and I can't remember what the last one was for me, but for me, that's what it was is, something that I can, just make my hands stay busy and just do stuff. Right.
Totally. So I would bring some way to listen to music and be able to charge that as well via solar panel or whatever it is, because music to me is absolutely, I have to have music in my life every single day. So I'm taking something that plays music. I am taking the Book of Mormon just because you can find relief and comfort in the words in there, and probably just pictures of my kids and my wife.
Okay.
I mean, I guess, yeah, like, this is where it's hard is because, like, obviously I'm not advocating for suicide. Like, and, like, I believe that is not good. Like, it's wrong, right? So I just feel like what could I bring to, like, make my life meaningful if I'm by myself?
See, I don't know.
Like, I feel like I would go crazy. Like,
Absolutely.
I agree with Grip that I would absolutely go crazy without human contact.
I
Like,
agree with that.
COVID, when I couldn't, like, go to my job, I wanted to, like, I was so miserable. So miserable. Like,
I think my issue would be, like Case says he'd take a picture of his wife and kids. And I don't know. I mean, I love my wife.
No,
and kids,
I was literally, as soon as
but
I
I don't
said
think I
that,
could
I don't
do
know if I
that
could watch.
because
Yeah.
I don't want the reminder, right? I don't want that reminder all the time. It would be too hard. It would be a lot easier to forget that than having to deal with it, not being able to be with him.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like forever I would just go crazy. So
Right.
I
Well,
don't think that I could actually kill myself, to be very fair. But, like,
Yeah.
I don't know what else I would bring to, like, make my life very meaningful and, like, want to live by myself on an island forever.
Well, my
you know?
my wife had to deal with it basically for 7 weeks, and she purposely did not take a picture into the hospital with her because she didn't want to have to. She didn't want to be reminded that she wasn't allowed to be with us. She wasn't around us. It was more than she could deal with.
Yeah, but at least she
And
still had, like,
yeah.
the technology and could FaceTime and stuff, yeah? Or Skype,
Yeah,
Zoom, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like, she had that possibility, and yeah, that's more than nothing. But, still, even being on an island by yourself and still being able to talk to people via that type of thing, yes, would it be better than nothing? Absolutely. But it still would, I mean, like, think about that reminder. Like, I can talk to you, but I can't touch you. I can't hug you.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I
I would
totally
struggle
get
with
it.
that. I feel like I kind of get that more than maybe you guys do because you all live so close to each other. And, like, that would be really hard for, like, my family, like, my husband, my kids, right? But, like, I pretty much live my life virtually or through phone calls or, like, through the podcast, really, like, in connection to you guys. That's how I live because I
I'm
live
so glad you
3,000
listen to
miles
us.
away. Like, because I live 3,000 miles away. Like, And I
No.
I love the podcast for that reason, because I'm like, oh, like that's so fun, or like, oh, I didn't know that about him, or and I just think it's really cool that like this is another way for us to connect, because like we talked about it a little bit on the road trips thing, Lonnon, where like it's hard, like we're siblings, but we didn't really know each other, and I feel like
were
we're
so
still
much
kind
younger
of
than me.
in that place. Like, yeah, we did a lot of talking, and like we definitely grew closer on that trip, but like it's also hard when like we're so far apart in age and like different places in our lives and
Well, it's not
whatnot.
even that, Sarah, because we were obviously we grew up really close to each other. Like we did everything together. I feel like games, read books,
Yeah,
music,
I agree with
whatever
that.
it was.
Like
I
even
was-
people,
now
like to the point where people were thinking we were dating. Yeah.
I was just trying to stay relevant. That's why I had a kid with all you guys.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Perfect. You did a good job.
So it's just crazy that our relationship has just been so different now that you've been gone for 7 years, 6, 8 years, 9
10
years.
years. 10 years this year.
Gosh, my entire marriage, you've been gone.
Wait, what was 2011 the first year you were there?
Yep. I started school in the fall of 2011.
Wow.
Dang, that was so long ago.
So-
It's crazy to think about. It's been 10 years.
Yeah. Can someone explain to
I'm
me?
excited
Okay,
to
this
see
is
you,
going to be
Sari.
a really stupid question, but can someone explain to me what an EMP is? Like,
So it's an electronic magnetic pulse, but what it does is it literally fries all wiring. So anything that has, so pretty much anything that you're using as of right now, it makes it so it's unusable. Batteries, hard drives, power supplies, starters, alternators on cars, all of these things, it ruins the wiring, because basically what it does is it heats them up to the point where they just become a welded goo, if you will, and then they solidify again, right? But in that time, it makes it so that all those things no longer work. So anything that has a transformer in it, done. Anything that has, anything like that, it's just done. And that's what an EMP is. It's a device. It's what happens when a nuclear bomb is dropped. An EMP, the EMP actually goes off at the same time. But so you could do one with a nuclear bomb, or you could do one without a nuclear bomb. You can do it either way. Did you ever see Ocean's 11?
does that seem like a movie I would watch? No.
I thought maybe, but Ocean's 11, there's a part on it where they literally take out all of like Las Vegas and the electricity, and they do it they call it a pinch, but it's an EMP.
Okay.
And what's funny is they're like, oh yeah, the power will only go on for a couple minutes, and realistically, an EMP is going to fry everything around it within a certain radius, and so you would have to replace all that, so the power would be down for all much longer. But that's not that's not fun in Hollywood, so they had to bring it back.
Okay, well, you and Case can stay on and talk about your deserted islands. I'm going to go put my very cranky baby to sleep.
All right, well, we
Good night,
appreciate
Sari. We love
you
you.
being on. We love you, and yeah, it was really fun. I'm glad we got to go back and do a couple extra ones with you. And, Case, we'll finish this one off, and it'll be a regular time
Yeah.
one anyway.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Stay ugly, because
Nice,
I won't
Sari.
be on when you do it.
So what exactly was the question for the EMP?
So basically what we said is if an EMP were to go off in your area, and I think it was Dane that said it was, what kind of person would you be? And for me, I just said a person that got things done, because I don't really, I don't know what I would be. Dane was like, I would be one of those people that got people together. I would be, like a leader that would just
Right.
get people
Yep.
together. For me, it's like, I can do that, but I can also make things work. I can figure things out, it's just, it would suck, but it would be like, for me, it was just something I would keep living, right? It
It's just
wouldn't
something
change.
you do. Yeah, I think that's where we're really similar there, Lonnon. Kind of jack of all trades kind of thing.
Right,
We're
I mean,
just
like-
willing to jump in and do anything.
Yeah, like what kind of traits would you use? And there's just a lot of those different things that would be very similar, I think, with both of us. That it's just like, but how would you define what type of a person you would be? And for me, it would just be, I think I would be one of those people that would also be a leader, but as in, getting everybody together to find out what everybody has and what they can offer so that we can all survive and we can all thrive, right? I wouldn't necessarily be that leader that everybody would come to in the end. We might, find somebody else that would be that leader, but I would be the one that'd be like, okay, what do you have to offer us? And when you have that idea of what to offer us, then at that point, okay, you would be good to do this. We're gonna have you go and do this, right? So that's what I think I would do. I've thought about it a little more.
And that's just being a Jensen. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but we just kind of just take charge of any situation we're in and make the best of it.
Well, and we have a lot of smarts. I mean, the difference is I'm not trying to say we're smarter than other people. That's not what I'm getting at.
Yes, you are, you liar.
Right. But basically what it comes down to for me is that we don't just have, we're not just smart on vehicles, or we're not just smart on this. We have a very large, very broad understanding of a lot of things, and some of them in a book smart sense, and some of them in a streetwise sense, or just a natural common sense type of information, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, obviously we're all mechanically inclined, and I think that's definitely where we're all going to be okay, because there's going to be things that are going to have to be fixed. Like if an EMP goes off, obviously, if there's replacement parts, we will be the ones that end up putting those replacement parts in, or figuring out how to make things work, like getting a vehicle running, like obviously with the diesels and stuff. And that was the thing too, is like, no one mentioned in the actual podcast you guys were talking about this, was like all the equipment that you could get running, like loaders and dozers and
old ones,
all
yes.
that kind of stuff.
Old ones,
yeah,
but not
old
new
ones.
ones.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like old cats and old whatever they were, just because it's all mechanical based, obviously, and hydraulic. There's no electronics. It's literally just everything's hydraulic. And if you can get the motor running, dude, you can do anything.
Well, and actually, a lot of those old ones were air started. They started via air. So a lot of those ones, you would have to find yourself or make yourself an air compressor that could then, but once they're started, right, then they're making their own air. So that's fine. And they usually hold on to it, but they've been sitting for a long time. You have to bring air to them to get them started. That's the case in some of those. Some of them have a little tiny gasoline engine that starts them. So again, you would have to figure something out with that, whether that's pulling that off and putting an air starter on there. Because, you're not going to start a 16-liter Cummins or cat diesel by hand. Come on. It's not going to happen.
Do it. Just crank it over. We're good.
Talk about those other people that always broke their arms when they were trying to start the Fords, the Model Ts. Yeah, that ain't nothing compared to what a freaking even a small diesel would be. Can you imagine that, man?
Yeah, a compression stroke on that. Oh my gosh, dude, that would just snap bones, easy peasy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree with you almost completely, Lonnon, on what I would do. It would just be, I would just get stuff done. I would be the guy that can pretty much figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, I would just rally around my family. And I think being, like you were saying, being so close to all of us here, and we're all within 10 miles. I mean, you, Griff, and Barron are all within 2 miles of each other, right?
Well, Griff's about 6 miles from us, but yeah, we're not that far from each other. Even you're not that far, and so no. I think that's what we would do. We would rally together. Yeah, and I think first thing we would do, like Griff said, is first thing we'd do is get a vehicle going that was big enough to haul as many people back here as possible in one go. And from there, then we would work on, making our compound, if you will, and then bringing people in that added to that. Most of us aren't big gun guys. Not that we may not have any, but we're not huge into it. It's like, I could spend money on that gun, or I could spend money on this.
On that car part.
Right. And so we aren't a big, but there's plenty of people I know that are, they'd be like, okay, you're in, No,
I totally. You got to have either stuff or stuff to offer, like knowledge and such.
Right.
But I think that's going to be the only thing that worries me is that if an EMP goes off, I guarantee. I'm more likely leaning that Vegas is going to be the one that gets hit between Vegas and Salt Lake.
Right. And so that being said, and it's like we said before, that means that we would actually have vehicles that would run here for at least a little while, because we would still have some fuel on the ground. The power would go away fairly quickly because, what we got hot hit. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't come up with some sort of generator or pump to be able to pump fuel. Now, once that fuel supply ran out, that's when we would have to learn how to, either, find a sulfur mine, if you will, or whatever it is, and water, or we, somehow are able to find crude and break it or crack it ourselves. I don't know.
Because missiles can run on literally any oil, correct?
They can not well. It's better if it's cut with something most of the time. If you could cut it with something else, if you were to get one of the old Hummers, like actual Humvees from the military, that 6.5 that they had in there, they had a Stanodyne pump system that would literally run on sulfur and water. It didn't run well.
Whoa.
But it ran.
At least it run.
Yeah, you could get home, right? So there's things like that you could make work, but I don't know. It's just it'd be interesting.
Yeah, it just I know for a fact that it would just if the people are listening to this and they don't have someone to rally around, get some people to rally around, because even if it's not obviously an EMP or something so extreme as that, but let's say you have a car accident or something like that, you just need to have people that are willing to step up and have a community around you, basically.
Absolutely. I mean, it is necessary, and it's nice that we kind of have that built in with our family, with the amount of people there are and the type of knowledges that we have. But it's nice that we all do have kind of that leadership quality as well, where we could bring in people. And Skyla's like, I would let everybody in, and I'm sorry, maybe I'm mean, and maybe you're totally different than me, but I wouldn't. You would have to prove to me that you've got something to offer, or I would already have to know, right? So, like a good friend of mine, Johnny Trujillo, I know what he has to offer. Yeah, he's in. But then, if I don't know you, you're going to have to prove it to me. You're going to have to be like, oh, well, I have this, or, I have this. It's like, well, if it's knowledge of some sort, well, then that's going to have to be proven over a period of time. And if it doesn't work, I'm sorry, you're out. And that would be that. See, and that's the hard thing, is because it would be a lot easier for me to tell somebody no at the beginning and not even bring them in, because then I don't know them, right? Versus getting to know them and possibly and probably their family, and then having to say, look, you're not contributing, I need you out. Well, now it's even harder. It would be hard because now I'm emotionally involved and emotionally engaged into it, right? So it'd be so hard.
Oh, that'd be one of the hardest things in the world, is to really do that. So, but it's honestly, it's a really good conversation to have, just in case something does happen. Like it's what are we going to do in that moment? And now with me not traveling for work anymore, it's going to be, oh, cool. I'm 3 minutes from my house. I'm okay now. Where if something would have happened while I was up in Salt Lake, it would be days before I got back here. Weeks. Yeah, well, and it wouldn't. I mean, we would know. And that's the thing. It's like we would have to set up a rally point type of a deal with that. I'd be like, okay, if something were to happen, I'm going to be here. It may take me a day to get there, but I'm going to be there, right? Type of a deal. With mom and dad and all them, obviously we know where to go. They're going to be at home, right? Yes. Yeah. It would be pretty easy for you, not as easy, but yeah. So I mean, that's the interesting part, is who would you let in? Who even among cousins and aunts and uncles, who would you let in? And friends, right? I'm just sitting here thinking through some of my closest friends, and I'm like, do they really have something to offer, or are we just taking them in because they're best? Just friends along the way. It's like, where do I draw the line? I don't know if you could ever draw that line. I have really good friends, but it's like, okay, what do they offer? It's Nick listens to every one of these, and to put him on the spot, he builds houses. And so some of that might be really handy, but where he used to just lay tile, it's like, well, that doesn't do me any good. Well, no, but the fact that he has that to build houses is a great thing to have.
Now, the other thing is that, with him being there, I also know, because I was raised with him, I've known him for so long. It's like, I know he's raised pigs, he's raised animals. So there's a lot of things there that would even be, even larger, in my opinion, as far as what he would have to offer. But if it was just one thing, just tile, well, shoot. I mean, that's really not worth anything.
No, that doesn't do us any good. Thanks, though, bud. And, well, I'm thinking about people that work on computers for a living or work in technology-based jobs. Like, what is a... if Jason hears this, he's probably going to hate me for it, saying, but what is a software guy going to do?
A software developer? Absolutely. They're not going to be able to do anything, not until they get computers and stuff back up and going. So there's... Right.
But Jason, I know Jason has other things to offer on top of that. He's not... he's still a Jensen.
Right. So, and that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of people that do have that other stuff to offer, but without knowing them, we don't know what those things are to offer. And that's what I'm saying. Nick, just as a Tyler, not much to offer. As a house builder, he has enough to offer there. And as with what he was raised in and the situations he was raised in, he was also a farmer. So there's a lot of things there that it's like, okay, those are all really beneficial things that I may not know.
No, that's awesome. So that's a really good.
His wife's a nurse, so yeah, deal.
Heck yeah, they're totally in then. Sold.
Right. That's just what it would be. It's like Dane said, if you need, if you got a nurse, it would just make things that much easier, and we'd have two. Maybe,
awesome.
Maybe.
Three, technically, if we include my sister-in-law.
Right. Yeah. So that's what the thing is. Just what do you have to offer? And is me wasting my food on you worth me wasting my food on you? And that may be just something that's mean, but it's also, it's something that people need to think about. It's like, how far do you think you're going to have to go? And yeah, this can kind of get dark, but maybe you just need to learn another skill. The one you might fall in love with, and it might turn into a passion and a hobby of yours. shoot, you might end up being a blacksmither, right? Well, that can totally turn into something.
Heck yeah, that'd be awesome. Or just I'm just thinking about guns. Obviously, you need to be able to be efficient with. Someone has to be efficient with cleaning them and knowing what needs to be replaced and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know how to do any of that. I know Dane's father-in-law knows how to do all that. So
right. And it's like you would need to find a blacksmith, because you would be able to get screws for a while or nails for a while, but at some point you're gonna have nails made for you, right? Jeez. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, don't even think
we would have to make a sawmill. Because we're gonna have to start building. Literally, you would end up on these compounds, right? You would have these peoples, you would have these fences, and so you would have to have somebody that can run a sawmill. Or even, it's like you got two people or a horse or whatever it is to run this big old blade so that it can run. You'd have to figure out how to do that. Now, I think that's something that between a blacksmith and Jensen ingenuity, we could have a steam driven engine pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, when Baron going to school right now to be engineer, man, we'll be set.
Yeah, hopefully we won't be able to draw anything. We'll just have to do it off of literally, okay, well, this fits, and yeah, let's go with it.
Make this work.
Exactly. What's crazy is how much power there is in steam. Steam's got ridiculous amounts of energy in it, way more than gasoline and diesel, but... All right, well, anyway, do you have anything else you want to offer to the EMP discussion?
No, just follow us on our Instagram and Facebook at King Ugly Crew, and then shoot us an email if you guys want to hear about any of these topics, or if you want to put in your 2 cents. Hey, well, maybe we'll put a shout out on those social medias. But you can reach out to us at King Ugly Crew or kinguglycrew@gmail.com, and also find us on our website. Lonnon, what is that again?
kinguglycrew.wordpress.com.
Beautiful. Awesome. So yeah, guys, reach out to us. Give us some topics. The last couple of topics we had were from listeners, and it was actually so much fun. It
was funny because Nick, he did the Discuss Dangerous ones, and I let him know. I was like, hey, I'm editing it right now, and okay, it's up now. And he's like, great. I looked for it earlier today, but I didn't see it. And I was like, yeah, I forgot to edit it. So here it is. And he's like, sweet, I have something to listen to tomorrow. I've already listened to all the rest of them.
That's just awesome. So, guys, yeah, if you're enjoying this, freaking like it, subscribe it, or if you can, or tell your friends about it. Like we're not going anywhere. We're just gonna be talking stuff. So,
although maybe that's why we're only capped at that 31 users, because it's all family and friends.
yeah, it's all good.
And that's all right.
Even those 31 people, I'm a-okay doing that. So, shout out to our listeners. Love you guys.
All right.
And
stay ugly.